under exponents and subtitled negative with fractions. Not the first time we've dealt with negative exponents. Let's just look at one. If I asked you what 2 to the negative 2 power is, how did we deal with that before? How did we deal with 2 to the negative 2 power before, Wade, did they, Davis?
Put it over, or flip it.
Right. Do you think this is a fraction? You put that on the bottom of the fraction and the exponent becomes positive. You still have a 1 on top. And then what is 2 squared? 4. So you end up with 1/4. 2 to the negative 2 power is the same thing as 1/4. Again, noting, ladies and gentlemen, that just because it's a negative exponent doesn't make the answer negative. It really has nothing to do with the answer being negative or positive. Well, what if it is a negative exponent with a fraction? In other words, what if it was 1/4 to the negative 2 power? Well, we can apply the same thing here. We'll do it, and then I'll just give you the easy way of how it here. Okay, if I pretend that this whole thing is over 1, and I flip it and put that 1/4 underneath there, what's it going to look like? Well, you'll have the 1/4 on the bottom of the fraction now, and it will change to a positive 2, and you have 1 on top, which it looks a little goofy, does it not? 1 over 1/4 squared. Well, what is 1/4 times 1/4?
1/16.
Okay, so this is 1/16, and there's still a 1 on top. Well, how do you divide by a fraction? This is the same thing as 1 divided by 1/16. What is 1 divided by 1/16? How do you divide by a fraction? But you flip and multiply, so this actually becomes 1 times 16 over 1. And what is 1 times 16 over 1 but 1 times 16 over 1, 1 times 16. And that's what 1/4 to the negative 2 power is. Now, you don't want to have to do that, so here is all you need to remember. And write this down. Okay. No.
What?
Are you kidding me?
What happened?
Oh, it's tape.
It isn't tape, it's paint.
Oh,
If that
yes,
comes
that's
off, I'm in a world of hurt.
No.
Uh-oh. Somebody's going to hear about this. It's not going to be me. What am I supposed to do with this?
Repaints it.
As they say, repaint, and thin no more.
Oh, so then you have to repeat the whole thing.
I don't know if this will, I guess it does right, but it's not very, I'm going to have to ignore that spot. I just need to get all this off of here first. Oh boy, it's nothing but worse. People.
This is terrible.
It's terrible. Alright, I'm going to have to change screens on you here. I'm going to write it over here. That's almost somewhat depressing. Why would it start doing that now? Right here, write this down. Okay, let's say let's go back to that one I just did, which was what, 1/4 to the negative 2 power. With fractions, to make a negative exponent positive, you simply, that doesn't seem right, does it? You simply flip the fraction over change the sign of the exponent. That is what you need to remember. What in the world? Is my whole board going to do this? Paint is expensive, by the way. Is that whiteboard paint? You get it for your room, so you can make your whole wall like a big piece of whiteboard. So, gist of that is this, ladies and or gentlemen. Starting with the one we just did. Okay. In order to make this negative exponent positive, you just take this fraction inside, flip it over, and it becomes positive. And that's where 16 over 1 came from. Alright, if I had 2/3 to the negative 3 power, it is the same thing as 3/2 to the positive 3 power. You flip the fraction over, the sign becomes opposite on its exponent. And what is 3/2 times 3/2 times 3/2? Well, 3 times 2 times 3 is 27, and 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 27 over 8. It's a pretty simple little fix there. That's going to annoy me. Got that? Now, what do we have to talk about? How about this one? Take out another piece of paper and write on top of it. Oh, I suppose repeating decimals. Let's do that. Let's call it that. You do have, do you not? Do you have a little cheat sheet that has the fractions that repeat as decimals? You do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got that as part of your arsenal, but you need to be able to think just a little bit more deeply than those things do. For example, well, one of the problems in the book is this. It says to change 16 2/3% to a decimal. If I asked you to do that right now, what would you tell me the decimal for that is? I got 3 people. I got 16% there though. Evelyn?
16. Oh, 0.16. And then third here, 6.
Okay, and that would be it. First of all, if you think of 16% as a decimal, you move the decimal back and you do get 0.16. Then you have to think about what is 2/3 as a decimal. 2/3 as a decimal is 6 repeater. Okay, now, you said this, I think, or whatever, but you wouldn't really write it like that. The most simplified form of that is just, wait.
0.1 repeaters.
Right, 0.1 repeater 6, because this 6 and that 6 are really the same. So you'd have to do it, you'd have to shoot it out like that. Or, how about this one? What is 83 1/3% as a decimal? It's the same thing. You make 83% a decimal by putting it at 0.83. What is 1/3 as a decimal?
0.3.
0.3 repeater. So you know this goes on forever like this. If you're writing it out in its simplified form, it'd just be 0.83 repeater. That big thing. That's not good. Now take out another blank piece of paper under unit multipliers.